that, but the situation with the war. So we have some questions to ask. I think you'll be the experts here on what's going on. So Einstein in our class is going to come up and ask you.
So how has the war changed compared to your life? What are the biggest challenges you're facing? What have you learned from this experience? And which ways of helping have you found most?
Okay, so these are some things we were wondering, and we're happy to listen now.
Hi, my name is Daniel. I'm an 11th former, and I'll answer on this first question. So unfortunately, my life and lives of my friends changed to before and after we heard our first air raid siren. First days for me were the most hard because seeing fighter jets flying over your home and not understanding whether those are Ukrainian or Russian fighters, it's devastating. So here you can see how Krещатик looked. Now it looks like this, with a lot of checkpoints of Ukrainian territorial defense. It's a part of Ukrainian armed forces, which helps to maintain safety in the city. So yeah, this is our class celebrating on Krещатик, on one of the buildings, the birthday of our two classmates. We were extremely happy, but unfortunately the war started. So now I would like to speak about education. We're studying online, like during the quarantine, but the understanding that there are a lot of kilometers between us is killing from inside. Those people who plan to enter Ukrainian universities have either to be in the dark or to change their ideas to move to another countries and to study there. Additional tough factor is that each of us who fled Ukraine is separated from his or her father, because during the state of war, no man between 18 to 65 years old are allowed to leave the country. Some of my classmates have not seen their fathers for more than 2.5 months now. We left everything we had in Ukraine. Our lives changed significantly in the last 83 days. It was hard for most of people to believe that the war started and that it's not just our dream. Unfortunately, as we saw, it is a real life, and Russian army has no glory, no heart. They're just uneducated orcs that do not obey any rules because they kill civilians, shoot rockets in school, just like your or mine, but those schools had huge children signs on the ground. I can tell you a lot more about orcs' crime, but as you are still kids, I better leave some things untold. Thank you.
Christina, please.
Hi, my name is Chris and I'm in 9th grade. So lately all Ukrainians have faced lots of problems, and these are only some of them. The first one is lack of fuel. Many Ukrainian people who didn't leave the country have faced the deficit of fuel.
Next slide, please, Lisa.
In order to refuel, people have to queue up for ages from an early morning. Even if some gas stations do have gasoline, people without a fuel card can just refuel there. The fuel card is a special card that is not available for everyone. Mostly these cards are given at work, but not all companies can issue them.
Next slide, please.
My parents have also faced this kind of problem. Once they have been waiting in the line for over 3 hours, and then when it was their turn, the gas station just closed because of the air alarm. And it was only 7 a.m. Second problem. Currently in Ukraine, the martial law is in effect, and men aged 18 to 60 are not allowed to travel abroad. That's why most 17 years old teenagers left their homes. Realizing they won't see their family for over 2 months hurts a lot. Just imagine that you are alone in a foreign country when you don't know when you come back home, and you have just to survive because your neighbor country had invaded your motherland. And the third most terrible problem. Nowadays, it's extremely tough for many Ukrainians to adapt to new realities. Russian troops took away homes of almost millions of Ukrainians by bombing them, and thousands of them were robbed and broken apart. Russians have ruined their past completely, and now they have to start everything from a new page. I can't but mention their killed or tortured family members. That's all, thank you.
Sasha, you're welcome.
Yeah, I would like to say that we have learned from this experience. So experiencing hard times is what brings united lessons. As we have already overcome the coronavirus lockdowns. Secondly, we've learned that tomorrow is fiction and the past is gone. And that is why the school opened its gates again for those who fled their homes and settled in the west part of Ukraine, as well as for those who came back to the capital with the belief that it somehow will bring them joy and happiness as it used to. Thus, I constantly believe that by providing our last funds, we didn't lose any cent because our headquarters did it in order to save our future. So what do we have that is now, let's say, traded for the happy future of ours? Next slide, please. We had a big desired American yellow school bus, which used to take us on different occasions, such as visiting kids in need, visiting pet shelters, and merely bringing us back home. Indeed, now the bus is in great, strong hands of our marvelous soldiers. Also, we have the basement in which we used to celebrate Halloween by making it a horror place, but now it's the place where love and compassion of those in need lives, as it is provided as a bomb shelter with air conditioning and everything compulsory for it to be a dwelling. Next slide, please. It says courage, made in Ukraine, and by sharing it, I wanted to emphasize that nowadays our school is living with the hope of peaceful tomorrow, by sacrificing everything physically gained through the years of its existence, but also providing its major duty, qualified education. From now on, I myself encourage you to live like there is no tomorrow, to live with faith in armed forces of Ukraine, and to help glorious Ukraine however you're able to. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Marta. Since the very first day of war, my school immediately has joined its own front, defending our country in the rear, and started a volunteering activity. MIDGARD has become a place of temporary protection, letting those in need stay in its building and basement. School organized all transportations of refugees to Western towns. I even once met our minibus while being a forced migrant in Mukachevo. And also, without a delays, the school turned our school canteen, the campus, the one all the students to every day have our lunch, into a full-fledged food preparation space.
Next slide, please. Sorry, next.
Campus makes 1,000 servings for our TRO. It's a local production group for citizens who have stayed in Kyiv and cannot cook. Everyone from the school staff who was able to volunteer has participated. They have been preparing, packing, and sending the food. As soon as the opportunity arose, as soon as the school gradually began offline studying for children, primary school students also actively participated in volunteering. Next slide, please. Giving away free food to elderly. Moreover, from the first day, each MIDGARD student took his front. Each student turned his page on social networks into an information field where they share information, draw attention to people, and spread awareness of the real situation in Ukraine. Pupils go to rallies no matter where they are, take part in volunteering as soon as the opportunity comes by, and continue to study, defending the country's educational front and its future. Next slide, please. I myself am an example of such a student. From the very first day when I arrived in Mukachevo, I went to the volunteering center. In the first week, I wove nets with dozens of refugees from all over Ukraine. Next slide, please. And then I joined the kitchen, where I made hot beverages for all volunteers in this organization. Other girls and I were looking after the kitchen and handing out lunches. I met many people who shared a common desire to help in the victory of Ukraine, and it was inspiring. The people who volunteer need to be supported. They need to keep working. We must continue to work as our soldiers fight for their lives, for a new day, so that we can continue to live and be fighters on our own front. Thank you.
Will you move back, please? Thank you, Arsenій.
Hello, everyone. My name is Arsenій. I study in a MIDGARD school in 11th grade. I'm now staying in Ukraine in my flat in Kiev, and every day help civilians to live more healthy and happy life in spite of Russian aggression. From the very beginning of the war, I help people every day with giving them food, clothes, and medicine. There are many problems in Ukraine now because of Russians, but I think soon they will resolve and all will be okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all for sharing your perspectives and experiences. We really hope for peace and positivity ahead for all of you. And thank you for sharing the food with the community and all you're doing to care for others. Did any of your teachers want to say anything?
Okay, I think maybe Natalia will say some words because she was volunteering actually, and she was living in our school, and she knows everything. She saw everything in her eyes. Natasha, will you?
Okay, I didn't just want to take the time here because our students are just the perfect example just for telling, for showing the volunteering job. And it's great because I'm really proud of them because the first missile was just shot in front of my house just in the very beginning, the early morning on the day when this phase of war started. And that's why it forced me and my family to go to find a shelter in my school. And we stayed there during the whole month, being exactly in that shelter and volunteering there and cooking and packing those up to 1,500 boxes for our soldiers. Yeah, the first reaction was panic. It was fear even for us. But after that, you know, I just met lots of people here who said that we will stay here. Up to the last moment, we can live and fight and support our army. And this was our army. I mean, our army of women, children, who really who did everything what they could do. They just painted pictures and sent them to the soldiers. We cooked, we helped with everything. And we are still here, and we will do everything to win. And we are definitely sure that we will win soon. And all our school leavers will realize their dreams and everything they wanted to do, and they really deserve it. They're perfect. Our youth and our soldiers, they are really the bravest in the world. And I do appreciate being here for you to support our school, to support our initiatives and ideas for whatever you do here. And it's a great pleasure, personally, for me to be here and to work with you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Again, that's a lot of food to prepare each day, and it's lovely that you're helping the community. So we're planning to host an event on the 27th of May. Our students know about it a little bit, but we're sharing a bit more information now. So if you want to stay and hear about it, about the event coming up, you're welcome. If you guys have lessons you need to attend to, that's fine if you want to go to that now as well. But our plan is to fundraise to help with this feeding of the community. So we're going to have a snack stand with baked items. So students will be bringing in baked goods to sell, and the ticket profits will go to the food you guys are providing. We also are going to have a recycled shop, and we're going to have flower art card making, a readathon, a book swap, lemonade or juice stand, flowers for peace, and a story reading, and possibly another booth or two. So our goal will be to support your efforts to help the community in need. After this assembly, it would be great, MEF students, if you can speak with your teacher about ways that you can help. Maybe you can bake something, maybe you can bring in used items. Some of you already have done so, and we will send the profits from these things to this food provision for the community. So right now, we have our award section, and this is student voted. So the middle school students voted for the awards for caring, because that ties in with our theme of this assembly, helping others. So grade 6 was actually a three-way tie, so Yeva, Piotr, and Victor. Grade 7, Aisha, and grade 8, Alyssa. So Olivia is going to show the awards on the screen, and you guys can clap if you want to make some noise about that. Yeah. Today, so 3-way tie, grade 6, lots of caring people. Thank you, Olivia. All right, and we'll finish this assembly with a quote. Can I have Haruto come up and read that? All right, so even a little bit counts. Anything little we can do to help support caring and peace in the world is a good effort. So thank you again for joining us for this assembly. We really appreciate it. We'll be in touch, and I wish everyone a lovely day. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.